Good morning, everyone. Is this place special? Unbelievable. As a lifelong Celtics fan and now the voice of the Celtics, this is just truly amazing to be here today. And on behalf of everybody, I'd like to welcome you to the Auerbach Center at New Balance World Headquarters. My name is Eddie Palladino. I am the voice of the Boston Celtics at the TD Garden. And we appreciate you taking time out to be with us today as we open this new state-of-the-art facility. Everyone who's in attendance today has supported the Celtics, New Balance, and New Balance development in this venture, and the support is truly appreciated. To start today's dedication ceremony, would you please welcome to the podium NBA Governor and Managing Partner of the Boston Celtics, Wyc Grousbeck.
Today, we celebrate a huge step forward for the legendary franchise we all love. Welcome to the Auerbach Center at New Balance World Headquarters. This will be the foundation as we build the Celtics teams of the future in our relentless quest for banners 18, 19, and beyond. This building is named in honor of the architect and mastermind of Celtic pride, Red Auerbach, who together with the many other greats commemorated by the banners hanging above us, built the Celtics into one of the world's greatest testimonials to teamwork, respect for one another, and commitment. We're thankful for all of the Celtics greats, from the founder, Walter Brown, through Bill Russell, Jones, Cousy, Sanders, and Heinsohn, through Havlicek, White, Johnson, Bird, McHale, Parrish, Pierce, and Garnett. It's in their names and Red's names that we relentlessly carry this effort forward, trying to honor their values and accomplishments by adding our own banners to the championship history of this great team and by leading the NBA off the court in community involvement and charitable commitments. There are many people to thank who helped produce this incredible state-of-the-art facility. They are all listed in the video loop that has been playing and will be playing today. But I'd like to start by thanking and welcoming Randy Auerbach. Red's daughter, Randy, is here to carry Red's spirit forward into this building. Thank you, Randy. I'd like to thank Jim and Chris Davis, Jim, the chairman of New Balance. You're true believers, you're proven winners, and you're terrific partners, and we're looking forward to the future with you. Thank you. I would also like to thank our lead team partner, General Electric. Their knowledge and innovative technology permeates and literally powers this entire facility. From the training rooms to the lighting systems, to the analytics we use to drive basketball decisions, and even in the unlikely event that we ever have an injury, to the medical and imaging equipment that's state-of-the-art back behind me. Thank you, GE. I must thank our guru and project lead, Jay Wessel. Jay, where did you go? Jay, please stand up. Jay, please stand up. Jay already has approximately 2 full-time jobs at the Celtics, and nonetheless uncomplainingly took on this project and delivered it on time, on budget, and with excellent execution. You're one of a kind and irreplaceable. Thank you, Jay. How about the architects, Elkis Manfredi? How about the architects? Let's hear it from them. This place is absolutely unbelievable. For construction, we turned to John Moriarty and many others. John Moriarty, they were superb. Thank you. Interiors were done in partnership. Eric Ruda Design, and then Emilia Fazzolari brought in Lucinda Loya Interiors. And working with Emilia, Lucinda and her team added significant and beautiful work. If you like the dining facility, the players' lounge, and the office side, you know, you see what's happened here. And so thank you guys, both of you, all of you, very much. I also thank Governor Charlie Baker, Mayor Marty Walsh, the other elected officials and leaders who are here, who have been supportive all the way through and wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you. I also thank our Celtics ownership, Steve Paliuca, Bob Epstein, Judy, Esta. You guys have been here, we've all been together for 15 years, and whatever the Celtics have needed, it's come from you, and we all appreciate it. Thank you. Our Celtics leadership, Our Celtics leadership, Rich Gotham, Ted Dalton, Bill Reisfelder, and James Parker, made sure the deal all happened. From this point, we move forward. We're better prepared. We're better equipped. We're full of optimism and confidence. We have unbelievable basketball leadership in Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens. We have an exciting young roster with some world-class talent and developing talent, and we still somehow have a cupboard full of other people's draft picks, as well as our own. We have the strongest fan support in the league and amazing corporate partners and community partners. Thanks again to everyone who had a hand in building this beautiful building. We turn our thoughts now to the past for this moment, and we think of Red. But I knew Red, and Red would want us to look forward. So let's look forward and envision the great moments still to come. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Wick. Our next speaker is the chairman of New Balance Athletics. Please welcome Jim Davis.
Great day, isn't it? A lot of us thought it would never happen, but it's here. Governor Baker, Mayor Walsh, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate the grand opening of the Red Auerbach Center and the return of the Celtics to their new rightful home in the city of Boston, where they belong. I want to thank Wick, Rich Gotham, Danny Ainge, the entire Celtics organization for their cooperation in partnering with New Balance Development to build Red's new house and the Celtics' new home. It goes without saying, this could never happen without the cooperation and support from all of our friends and neighbors in Allston and Brighton, from the city of Boston, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you, guys. Today, the sports complex attracts athletes of all ages and abilities, from young children to true professionals of all ages. In the near future, we will have one of the world's fastest tracks, attracting more world-class athletes, both amateur and professional, sports enthusiasts of all types, writers, broadcasters, and sports medicine experts. The site also provides athletic, social, and academic opportunities for the children of our community. It has a varied number of establishments for dining, drinking, or just having fun. Combined with affordable and luxury housing, hundreds of job opportunities, and convenient rail service, this makes Boston Landing a great place to work, play, and live. We are seeing more activity and use than we ever anticipated. The complex has become a great source of pride for Allston, Brighton, and the surrounding areas. The addition of the Celtics' new home, along with the Bruins, New Balance headquarters, the forthcoming indoor track, and sports research center, make Boston Landing an urban sports mega unique in the world. Construction will start in the first quarter of next year on the track. It will take about 30 months to complete, and it will attract more world-class athletes and hopefully a few world record holders. We're really trying to make this one of the fastest tracks in the world. So if you're a good athlete, this is one place you want to come and do your best. Break the record. This past season for the Celtics is quintessential Red. A young team came from nowhere and beat the odds. They were a green team in more ways than one. They have an embarrassingly underrated coach who surprised everyone, and he will continue to do so. He fooled the so-called pundits. They have a front office, team operations second to none, and a committed and supported ownership. The teamwork this group demonstrated served as inspiration to these young players. It made the Celtics a winning team, the kind of team Red aspired to coach. Teamwork, humility, discipline, commitment, loyalty, integrity. They have it all. Red and I met through ML Carr. We connected because of our similar business experience and philosophy. We were entrepreneurial risk takers. We did whatever it took to make it happen. We understood each other. He was my friend and my mentor. I obviously learned more from him than he did from me. The biggest thing he taught me was how to win, how to never, ever give up. He did not know what that meant. It was not part of his vocabulary. He actually had his own unique way of expressing himself, but that's for another story, another day. He was iron-fisted and never stopped. He was relentless and demanding until he won. Then he intimidated the opposing team with a puff of smoke from his trademark cigar. He was a master of teamwork and inspiration. He was able to challenge good average players with the right attitude to perform at levels they never dreamed of attaining. He was always fair. He had their backs, and they knew it. The loyalty and respect they had for him and for each other was palpable. Red taught them to be winners. They learned to earn it. They learned to expect it. Winning became part of the tradition, the Celtics culture. I remember in the late 50s when I was about 2 years old. You're supposed to laugh. The Celtics and Bruins were the only winners. Football was a dream, and we all know the history of the Red Sox. The Celtics became consistent winners. They raised the bar. Just look at the banners. They raised the bar for the other Boston teams to follow, and they did. Today, we have 4 professional teams, any one of which could be a national champion. Red set the standard. Coaches and players followed. This might be a little far-fetched or even illusionary, but it's worth pondering. Red's winning ways not only affected other teams, it's permeated Boston culture. It's permeated Boston culture. We all want to be the best at what we do. We want to be winners. We just might be emulating Red's standard, his legacy. As our young Celtics move into Red's house, the legacy, tradition, and pride are ubiquitous and inspirational. Randy and I were saying earlier, Red would love his new house. He wouldn't say anything, but he'd be real proud. He would ensure that Celtics pride and winning ways are ingrained in every corner of the new house and every player on his team. That's Red, a true legend. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Please welcome His Excellency, Governor Charlie Baker.
Well, good morning, everybody. And as we walked in, I turned to the mayor and I said, "This smells like a new basketball court." And I can't wait until it smells like the Palestra, which will probably take a few years, but it'll get there. You know, as I listened to both Jim and Wick talk, my first thought on this was, this is a building, but in the end, and the Celtics are a spectacular institution, but in the end, what it's really all about are the people. Walter Brown hired Red Auerbach. Red Auerbach signed Bill Russell and Bob Cousy, and a whole host of other people who went on to create a tradition and a sensibility about winning that will probably never be accomplished again in professional sports. 11 championships in 13 seasons. And then Red signed some guy named Cedric Maxwell and another guy named Larry Bird and Dave Cowens and a whole host of others who went on to win additional championships. And then a great franchise teetered a bit. And then some guy named Wick bought the team, along with some guy named Pags, and a bunch of other people. And they said they were going to bring back the glory days. And I remember when I was at Harvard Pilgrim at the time as a CEO, and Wick and Danny Ainge came to see me and said, "We're looking for corporate sponsors. It's going to be great. I know we haven't been great, but it's going to be great." And I thought, let's give that young man a chance. And then several years later, I got a call from Bob Ryan, the Boston Globe, who said, "What are you doing? They're not getting anywhere. It's not happening." And I remember saying to Bob Ryan, who knows more about basketball and has forgotten more than anyone else, "Patience, Bob. They got the right people. They're going to get there." And then sure enough, they did. With Pierce and Garnett and Allen and a whole bunch of others, they threw up banner number 18. And now here we are. Jim Davis, probably as good a friend and as good a partner to the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as you're going to find anywhere. Somebody who decided that he wanted to enter into a series of partnerships with the city and with the state to create a great complex here in Allston Brighton. And Jim, I can't think of it. This had to be you. This had to be a guy with the will and the perseverance and the bandwidth to create something as spectacular as Boston Landing and to bring state folks and city folks and a whole series of spectacular athletic organizations together to create something that's going to be part of the future of this city and this Commonwealth for years and years and years to come. mean, I grew up watching Tom Heinsohn and Satch Sanders and Cedric and all the rest of these guys. And I grew up listening to Johnny Most, who's the most one-sided. There's nothing better than listening to the radio and watching the game on TV and watching Johnny Most's definition of a foul. And you're every bit the homer that he was, and we love you for it. And I had a chance to play for Satch at one point, one of the truly great gentlemen of all time in Boston sports. And anybody who's ever listened to Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell call a game knows that there's literally no one else I'd rather listen to than those two hoot and holler from one end to the other, having way more fun than anybody who's got a job doing this should ever be allowed to have. Because in the end, folks, this is a building and it's a spectacular tribute to a truly great winner and somebody who put his mark on this city like almost nobody else in Red Auerbach. And it will serve the Celtics and this community for decades to come in ways that people can't even imagine. But it happens because of the people. Walter Brown, Red Auerbach, Wick, Pags, Jim, Bill Russell, Tom Heinsohn, and so many others. And I can't just tell you how much we appreciate the fact that this city and this state rocks because of people like that. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the mayor of the city of Boston. Please welcome the Honorable Marty Walsh.
Thank you, Eddie. And I don't know how you come up here and follow those two. You know, it's first of all, let me get all the thank yous out of the way. I want to thank the governor. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the partnership we have, and it is important. And Jim Davis is right. It is about winning, and it's about doing the best you can for the city and for the state. And today's just another day for the city of Boston. And I want to thank you, Jim. I want to thank you for your pursuit of everything you have here. I want to thank you for your help. The U.S. Conference of Mayors came in last week, and we had a chance to showcase Boston to 250 mayors from around America. And Jim Davis, New Balance, was helpful to that. And every mayor that came to Boston for that conference left with a pair of New Balance. So thank you for that as well. They were very thrilled on it. The Celtics ownership, I've had the chance to get to know Steve over the last 4 years since I've been mayor, and Wick, and Bob and Judy and Elsa and Randy and everyone, and you truly are amazing people in your own individual right. And to bring all of that expertise under one roof here with the Boston Celtics, you can see why we're in such a good position. So thank you for what you do, not just for what you do with the Celtics, but what you do for the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So thank you as well. To Rich, the president, me and Rich met, I think it was 3 years ago. We started talking. I met him actually at the groundbreaking here, I believe, and we started talking about just different things. At that point, we talked a little bit about basketball. I don't know a lot about basketball, but I know that the moves that were being made. I watched what Danny Ainge did in his job prior to this. I knew him being here, and I watched the Celtics slowly but surely put an incredible operation together, get draft picks, stockpile the draft picks, make incredible choices and do incredible things. So I want to thank you, Rich, as well, for what you've done. Everyone here at New Balance, Jim Halliday and Chris Davis and everyone here at New Balance, thank you for your work. And I want to give a shout out to you. You're incredible. You give us the credit, but your consistencies with the delegation from this neighborhood, and you have incredible elected leaders in Kevin Honan, Mark Siomo, Mike Moran, Sal DiDomenico. Thank you, guys, and thank you to the community for seeing this vision, what's happening here in this neighborhood, and being able to give back to the community without having a strong community partner and strong local elected officials. It's not what we do, it's what you do. So thank you for what you do as well every single day. Red Auerbach once said, take pride in what you do. The kind of pride I'm talking about is not an arrogant kind. It's about caring, fiercely caring. Red Auerbach's legacy burns bright in the city of Boston, and I want to thank his daughter as well for sharing your dad with us. Because I remember being a kid watching the Celtics back in the days. I remember the '76 championship. I certainly remember '81, and I celebrate in '86. So I celebrate in '81 too. But I want to thank you for that. His love for this team, his love for this city lives on. Nowhere is more evident than right here in Red's house. This beautiful new facility brings our Celtics home, so they don't just win championships in Boston. They're also going to train in the city, and Jim talked about that. I can proudly say that this state-of-the-art facility is one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. This is where the Celtics are going to earn their next title. That blank slate up there, I'm looking forward to. We're not going to talk about parades, but I'm looking forward to having a celebration in Boston when we fill that banner. And it's going to happen here in this great facility. Throughout this work, the Celtics and New Balance have put an emphasis on community. As Jim talked about, he's excited about what's happening here with the Celtics, but he's also, every time he talks about is what's good for the people, what's good for the kids. We had a meeting in my office not too long ago, and we were talking about what we can do for kids in the city of Boston, how we can get them into athletics, how we can get them more active, how we get them more training. And when you have a philosophy in a company like that, that's not just about winning, but it's sharing that. That's important, making sure that that happens. The West End House, every kid is going to have the chance to play on this court on Thursday and learn from the best coach in the NBA, and that's Coach Stevens, who's over here with us. Thank you, Coach, for what you're going to do with the kids. And everything Jim said about the coach is absolutely right. My notes have nothing to do with sports now, so I'm going to jump off for a minute. Watching the Celtics over the last couple of years has been amazing. Watching them grow, watching them play, watching them go to heights that I personally don't think they should have been in some of those games that they were in, and watching the spirit. And the way you do that is not by individuals. The way you do that is by leadership and by team spirit. And it starts with the ownership. It starts with the legends that are here today and the young people understanding the legends of the players of the past, keeping that bar high. But it also starts with having a coach that is an incredible coach and watching him be able to put a game plan up. I listened after, I think it was Game 5 of the Eastern Conference game when the Celtics lost the game before that. I think they lost Game 4. And I was listening to Jason Tatum talking after the game about the game plan that Coach Stevens put out there, and that Cleveland just couldn't get around that, couldn't break the game plan. And I want to thank you, Coach, for investing in our young people, because a lot of those young people that we have on the Celtics today, they are the role models for our young people. And I see them out in the communities. I see them in our schools in Boston. I see them in our schools across the Commonwealth. And I want to thank you for your leadership and thank you for what you stand for. You stand for what Red Auerbach stood for, Boston pride, Celtic pride. So thank you very much for everything you do. I said this at the groundbreaking. This is exactly what I said. Boston Landing is in the Austin Brighton neighborhood, is an economic engine creating new jobs and new opportunities. There are new homes where the families are going to be, and they're going to be able to begin their stories here. Public playing fields are giving kids chances to be active and practice alongside their heroes here between this facility and where the Bruins are. Beautiful green space is making the area more walkable, a place for people to come together and enjoy and get to know. I grew up in a neighborhood that we knew our neighbors, and Mike Moran is here. I grew up in a neighborhood, Kevin and Mark and Sal. We all grew up in a neighborhood where we knew our neighbors. And for a while, that started to get different. And what's happening here is we're bringing our neighbors back together so people know who lives next door and who's in the neighborhood, and that's important. We have a new commuter rail station down the street, which opened last year, that is a gateway to our city. I think that this is a place, I know that this building is something that Red Auerbach would have been very proud of. When I walked in the front door with the governor downstairs, he walked in here and commented on the smell, which is true. When I walked in, the first thing you see the Celtic greats. And you understand the great tradition, the great pride of this great franchise. And this great franchise and that pride started with Red Auerbach. And it's important for us never to forget that. He brought a lot of happiness to our city. A lot of those years that he won the banner, there wasn't a lot of positive stuff going on in our city or in our country. And he brought it here to Boston. This ownership is bringing that same pride to our city, continuing that great pride to our city. I want to thank you all. I want to thank the Celtics. I want to thank New Balance for making this a championship city, for earning those banners, for honoring Red's legacy, and for investing in things that make our community stronger for generations to come. Go Celtics.
To tell us about the finer points of the Auerbach Center, would you please welcome to the podium the Managing Director of New Balance Development Group, Jim Halliday. Jim?
Thank you. On behalf of NB Development Group and the extended project development team, big thank you to the Davis family, New Balance, and the Boston Celtics for letting us be a part of creating the Auerbach Center at New Balance World Headquarters, where the work starts for Banner 18. A couple weeks ago, Jim Davis shared with me that one of the things that makes doing things fun and worthwhile, and that he likes about our Boston Landing Development Project, is establishing long-standing relationships and doing good work with good people. Working with the Boston Celtics and our extended project team, I can tell you this project is filled with good people. Our efforts start with the leadership teams at both the state and city level, led by Governor Baker and Mayor Walsh. For projects such as the Auerbach Center, support happens at the local level, shepherded by our local elected, comprised of Senator Sal Domenico, Representatives Mike Moran and Kevin Honan, and City Councilor Mark Siomo. To shape projects like the Auerbach Center and Boston Landing, dedicated work and collaboration happens at the community level by volunteers that comprise the Neighborhood Advisory Group, working in conjunction with Brian Golden's team at the Boston Planning and Development Agency. Good people doing good work. In describing the synergies and values that bring the Boston Celtics and New Balance together, the words vision, iconic, teamwork, and community responsibility come to mind. We think those words aptly apply to this project development team, led by Elkis Manfredi Architects on design, John Moriarty and Associates on construction, and comprised of firms like McNamara Salvia, BR+A, Beals Associates, Sanborn Head, and PMA Consultants, along with the legal work by Goodwin, leasing representation by CBRE Transwestern, and project financing provided by East Boston Savings Bank. Again, good people doing good work. Of course, thank you to Wick and the Boston Celtics for selecting Boston Landing for your new home. It has been a pleasure to work with Rich Gotham, Jay Westland, and their team to make the Auerbach Center happen. Thank you. Finally, thank you to the Boston Celtics. Thank you to Randy Auerbach for allowing us to add a tint of green and a touch of red to Boston Landing. Thank you. Go Celtics.
Our final speaker of the day is the team president of the Boston Celtics. Please welcome Rich Gotham.
Well, the good news is I had a whole bunch of things to say, but they've all already been said. So great job to all our speakers. Thank you all for being here with us today, Governor Baker and Mayor Walsh, particularly for taking time out of your schedule. It's just a fantastic feeling to be a part of a city and a community that cares so much about its team and its sports and its neighborhoods. And so we're extremely proud to be a part of what's going on here at Boston Landing. We're proud to be partnered with the folks at New Balance, Jim Davis, for the vision to make something like this happen. Many of you in this room were with us, I think it was 2 years ago in May when we first put a shovel in. To talk, okay, back shortly. To put a shovel in the ground and get this project started, to me, it's utterly amazing that in 2 years we could have created what's around us. The hard work of so many people that went into this, all of whom have been mentioned today here. It really is a tribute to the work ethic that's gone into this. 5 years ago, we weren't shopping for a new place to practice. We were in Waltham at our practice facility. I got a call from a guy named Mike Joyce, who's here with us today, who said, hey, would you potentially think about what's going on at New Balance? And I said, well, gee, we're 5 years left on our lease. We don't really have a need to go anywhere or do anything. And I thank Mike for actually bringing this to our attention, this amazing opportunity, because we'd only have a year left on our lease, and I have no idea what we'd be doing right now. But we've been able to expand our footprint here by 2x in every functional area. Our goal every year is to contend for an NBA championship. We need a place where we can get our players and our coaches to maximum performance so that we can achieve that goal. And what we have here today with New Balance, at the Auerbach Center, is just that. It's a facility that's going to allow us to realize our ambitions as a team that intends to hang more banners. We've got the empty banner here, the blank banner here that represents our next opportunity that motivates us all every day to get up and go to work and work hard to deliver to our fans what they deserve, which is that next championship. And now we have the facility that's going to allow us to step even closer to that. So I'd like to thank everyone here who's been involved with the effort to get us this far. Jay Westland has been called out earlier, but I've got to call him out a second time for not only delivering this, but delivering this amidst the that pesky run to the Eastern Conference Finals, which slowed things down a little bit, but that's what we're in it for. And I'd like to thank all of you, our guests, for being here. You're all in some way related to this project, to supporting this project, to helping us get where we are today on this wonderful day. And without further ado, I think there's only one last thing to do, and that is to actually not cut the ribbon, but cut the nets. And in front of us here, we have that netting that we'll cut as a photo op. I'd like to invite up right now Wick, Steve, Bob, Jim Davis, Jim Halliday, Randy Auerbach, the governor, and the mayor to please join us in cutting the ribbon and launching our new facility. Thank you.
Who's in charge here? Let's let the coach say when.
This is pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, go.